do this. There we go. I'm gonna let you formulate your thoughts on this video while they're getting the sound down.
I was 36 now.
Formulate
When I was
that.
30, I was getting out of a 5-year relationship. My ex at the time asked me, where's happiness on my priority list? It wasn't there at all. Because sometimes, growing up, when you're raised in survival, and I'm talking about my family, we done been through it. We used to live in our car. We've been homeless a few times. We've had people try to come and take our lives. You know what I'm saying? That's normal. So you grow up with this hustle. And when it comes to, I want this, or this is going to make me happy, sometimes in those situations, you think that, or you're taught that if I go for this, this is going to harm me or shut me down, hold me back, or kill me. Because to choose happiness, you have to be vulnerable.
So the
to
defense
choose
mechanism
love,
you build, right, to protect yourself.
So you don't even know how to engage sometimes. And for me, because I got this little person who is nothing but love, I don't have a choice but to be vulnerable. I have to be open. I have to look at myself as an individual and reassess my relationship. I got to divorce myself from the old me and come into who I'm supposed to be right now. I'm at a point in my life where I'm at the highest place in my career and I can't see it because I still have a trouble with saying I'm successful.
Oh, that's Aldous Hodge. You know Aldous Hodge?
Yeah.
All right, on that right there. Like, because I saved that one because I was like, all right. When he said I'm at the highest levels of success, but I still can't see it. And that's that self-doubt that I feel like black men grow up with all the time.
Yeah.
Where it's like, once you defeat that part of yourself, once you kill that part of yourself, right, then it's like you open up to this world that's always been there, but you already 30 years, 40 years behind because it took you so long just to get to that point.
Right. Yeah, you're stuck in the part that really clicked with me was the survival. When he was saying you're in survival mode. And it made me think of when my mom passed away. I was 21, just got accepted in nursing school. And there was this sense of survival that I'd never felt ever in my life. That's like, you're on your own. And it wasn't that I didn't have family or sisters or nothing, but I never needed them. Like anytime I needed something, mama, going through something, or I need some advice, or I just need you to cuss me out because I'm about to make a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? But when she's gone, and my dad died when I was 8, so when she passed away, there was a long period of trying to, I guess, re-see life. And something that he said was, when you're in survival mode. And I think that it connects a lot with what we were talking about earlier, but even more with just my life is that I've just been stuck in survival mode. No matter the success, no matter the accomplishment, it's never enough because...
For you or for those around you?
Well, all of it. Me, my care for them. If my sister needs something, my niece needs something, my wife needs something, it's not that they're needy people. It's just I want to be there to cover it. And when I look at it, the basket is never full, no matter what we have.
Why do you think we don't take enough time for ourselves like men? You think it's all men, black men, or what?
I think it's all men. I think that's also part of being a man. It's just... when you are forced to care for yourself and then others within your life, you might see them, dropping down or not doing as hot, or, it's like, I got a few bucks, or you need this fixed, I'll come over and do it. You need to move, I got you. A lot of that is just, I'm there to care. But we're not going to look at it as care, or, it's more so what they call it, providing, but that kind of thing. I think it's just, men want to do for self. Most true men, not saying all men, obviously, we got them other, people want to live off somebody or have a woman take care of them and all that different stuff. But I think most men, all men, have a sense of duty of just, it's up to me. But I think it also goes further when you're struck with shit in your life. Like, my dad died when I was 8. I had trouble in elementary with staying out of fights because it would be, oh, you ain't got no daddy, or, or some shit like that. And I'm like, damn.
Is that still, that's like the worst black joke. You ain't got no daddy. Hey, where your daddy at?
Where your daddy at? And, it makes me think like, damn.
Why we live so poor?
I'm finna punch you in the face, man, for saying that to me. And, they don't know. They're just talking. Yeah. They've said it a million times and it never meant nothing, but to you, it meant something.
You got to deal with that. That hurt me.
You got to deal with it. Like, damn, that hurt, because he's telling the truth and everybody's laughing. You know what I mean? Everybody's laughing and, so I got to beat your ass for that.
I can't tell if we're laughing at like trauma or like we're literally, are we savages right now?
No, that's the trauma, man, is people doing things to you not knowing how it affects you. And we do it to others. I do it to people. You do it to people. It's every day, whether you're saying thank you or not saying thank you. You just done something to someone. And depending on how their day is going affects how they perceive it, You come in and sit down and she's like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Give me a coffee. Get what I'm saying?
Give me a coffee.
Somebody having a good day may not affect them. Somebody having a bad day is like, well, fuck you. Here's your coffee, or something. You know what I mean? It could go. It's just how you approach it.
Yeah. So it's like funny you say that because it wasn't until like major organ failure, kidney failure with me, where I started to be way more concerned with other people. Like, you don't even realize how selfish you are until something's taken away from you that you can't control.
Humbling.
And so, it's incredibly humbling. Like kind of when I told you about that, finding out I was shorter than what I thought I fucking was. That was that still hurts.
Experience.
That still hurts, man. How tall are you?
5'11".
See,
But I claim 6 foot. About 5'11" and a half. I don't know. I haven't measured it in a while, but let's just say 5'11". Yeah. But I say 6 foot. So.
That still hurts when that nurse called me 5'9" and a half, but it's all good. So I'm learning to live with it. But back to like the organ failure thing, just I started calling people just out of the blue. Hey man, hadn't talked to you in a while, I just want to check on you. And once you get past people making sure you're not trying to borrow money from them or getting to help move, it's like, hey, you good?
Like, hey, John,
and it's like, nah, man, I'm just calling to check on you.
Yeah.
Literally. And it's like, you don't need no money or nothing? No, man, I'm surprised you think I'm that fucking broke. Yeah. All right, whatever. Yeah. You've never talked about your dad a lot. And you shared something with me that I thought personally was fascinating. And I think those listening, if you want to talk about your dad for a second, would as well.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of true memories of him other than, riding with him when he picked me up, drove trucks, drove 18-wheelers. And I have some memories fishing with him from the Delta, Marvel, Arkansas. I was born in Little Rock, raised in Marvel and Jacksonville. My whole family's from Arkansas. And it's just an amazing place, man. And I could never...
Arkansas?
Yeah.
All right.
The woods, the country,
keep
Delta.
Keep going.
There's mountains. And, I mean, it just really is a pretty place outside of the city. Like I said, I was born in Little Rock. I did some childhood in Little Rock, but I also would get to go stay with my grandma in Marvel. And my dad, he drove trucks, so he'd be in and out of different towns. My uncle stayed in Lone Oak, which is where my mom's family's mostly from, Lone Oak, Arkansas. It's all country, all Delta. Mm-hmm. Small towns. But growing up there, and in the city, you just get a lot of a different, feeling about carrying yourself. Everybody's doing things differently. You're living in the city with your mom and they're calling you country. And then you go to the Delta and they call you a city boy and all that crap, so you don't know what the fuck to do. You're just trying to fit in with your family wherever you are. And with my dad, I just tried to always not be spoiled as they called me or yeah. It's-
Oh,
And weak. I was the weakest one. Lil John was the weakest one and his whole family. I had a cousin that,
remind me to come back to spoil.
just whoop up on me. Not in an abusive way, but I always felt like they were tough. My family, I felt like my Arkansas family was real tough. And they were always trying to prevent you from being a victim, or being nothing's happening to you. Nothing's wrong with you. Your head's busted and bleeding. You'll be all right. You'll live.
Go sleep it
Stop
off.
crying. Go sleep it off. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, when you said spoil, I thought about something because spoil in Arkansas on this next point. This might be a torture of my own, but I love like going on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, and like reading a lot of the comments on like especially interracial posts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so like some of the funniest shit I'll ever see, even though it's wrong, is like the colloquialisms they have for interracial dating.
Right. Yeah.
And I saw one, there's like interracial couple on there, and the comments, one guy was like, if she had a drop of oil, she's spoiled.
Yeah.
And you said Arkansas and spoiled, so I gotta know what some of your like funniest like racist shit where you was like, all right, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, man. I don't know. The once you go black, you never go back. I think that's complete bullshit. I think,
well, that's one been around for a minute. That's like,
but I feel like that. I really have a different view of looking at shit where I don't see this person being different or better. I think that once you find your match, you don't go back. But
yeah,
I don't think that we're that great all the time. Some of us are dogs. Some of us some dogs.
We're not that great.
Some of us some dogs out there, Some of them not doing too well. You know what I mean? It's just,
yeah.
I always thought that was one of those shits like bullshit.
Well, like it was one of those things. It hurt to read, but it was like
great.
I still was going with it because there were comments like, "Good luck being a single mom."
Yeah.
Or like,
well, it's
or
true,
it was
man.
like-
I mean, shit happens.
I was like,
man.
where the fuck does that come from? How do y'all just like throw that? Or it's
Because-
like, look at that mud shark. I never heard of a mud shark until like that, but apparently, whatever.
Yeah,
I was
but
like, God
there's
damn.
also the illusion that because a woman has met this black guy or something, that now all of a sudden she only likes black guys, and that ain't true. She could very well go back to dating a white guy or an Asian guy or Mexican guy.
But that's a
after that
shaming
black
tactic,
guy,
though. That's a shaming.
That's a shaming
Yeah.
tactic.
We've had that conversation.
You're trying to
before.
prevent her from doing
Doing it
something,
again, yeah.
and that ain't even what probably led her there. It was him or what he said or what she found intriguing about that dude. That's not all. Now there are some that say I only fuck brothers. It is like, hey, okay, that's your choice, but a lot of us
Yeah.
don't even like them. You know what I mean? In the sense of, because it's the fetish thing. Do you have a fetish about that, or do you just know me and you like me?
Yeah, see, that
You
was
know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
I remember, this one girl I was seeing some time ago, she had told me she liked my big lips. And I was like, bitch, I've been trying to fucking, don't make me love my insecurities. Don't do that to you, bitch.
Yeah,
and it was
I know
like,
what I'm saying.
she was like, no, they're just really full and I love them. And it was,
But that's her
it was one of those things where I had to be like, I don't know if she fucking with me or not, but it was like,
Yeah,
because if she
sometimes,
would have
I
come back
guess you
later
gotta-
and like said it was a joke, then I'd have been done.
You could be careful with that too, because she could just be fucking with you. And
Exactly,
then
that's what I
she could-
mean. I'd have been out here like,
but it
woo,
could-
woo, woo.
right.
Like just fucking
Yeah.
soup coolers and
But
shit.
it could be
That's racist too.
It could be. Hey, they're fucking injecting shit in their lips nowadays. They all want to cool them.
Hey, when I
soups.
heard soup coolers, I was like,
Yeah, everybody wants some soup coolers.
Oh,
especially
man.
the women.
like who comes? I want to like meet those guys. Like, I would love to just set a mic at a Klan rally and hear the things that come out.
No, fuck that.
No, not be there.
Yeah,
Not be there. But I do think
but
it
I'm
would
saying,
be fun
yeah,
to
just
like
hearing,
streak
just,
to a Klan
just
rally.
to hear it. I have a friend that's affiliated with a nationalist organization, and
Chick-fil-A?
honestly, people would snap me a nationalist organization.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, A
Chick-fil-A.
lot of people
You
would
missed the
slam
joke.
me, but this guy's somebody I've done some work on, tattooing and stuff like that. And he's affiliated with something that's just like, man, like, well, why do you keep coming around me? What's the point? What are you trying to prove to me coming around?
Yeah,
and
I
you
need
have
those too.
this ink, you have this work on you that says that you're about this thing and you don't like this other thing. And that's my life. So why are you constantly around me, And it's really hard to draw that answer out of them. But somebody would say, well, you keep letting them around you. It's like, well, I run a business.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, no, I'm not going to do that kind of work. But the other work that I might do is, cover that up or fix something around it or try to shade that in. And
So
some
you're
stuff
saying you're
that
keeping the door open for the possibility of bringing somebody like,
yeah, if you want to make a change, man, I'd
Yeah.
love to help you make that change. But at the same time, I'm not going to say you should cover that up. My question is, why are you keep coming over here if that's not your main intent? What are we discussing here? And a lot of it, I think, is perspective on life, and
how much of it would
maybe
you say
he's
is like
questioning
money
something.
is green and you got bills to pay?
I say 50-50 because there is a part of it that's peace and calm. And I would never, there is a dollar amount, I guess they say. Everything's for sale.
We got to stay true here.
You got everything's for sale. But at the end of the day, I'm not one. I've argued with customers. I've had clients, even friends, no show on me, say they forgot this or that, or be upset about a design or something like that. And I've never just closed the door like, oh, well, you don't like that, fuck off. It's always like, okay, well, how can we get past this? Because at the end of the day, it's not that important to me, but it seems very important to you. So let's fix it on your end.
Let's stay there for a second. When do you think people just stop respecting other people's time? Like it's gotten nuts out here now.
I think until they're humbled, like you said.
Until they're what?
Humbled.
Yeah, like people don't respect your time now. And it's
People don't respect people.
okay, keep going.
A lot of people don't have enough empathy to put themselves in other people's shoes. Like you said, I'm not saying you didn't have empathy, but like you said, till you were diagnosed with
It became at the forefront. Yeah.
it became at the forefront to think of others.
Yeah.
Not saying that you didn't. Maybe you did once forced to interact. Like, oh, okay, all right, let me put myself in your shoes for a second. But instead of that, it made you reach out to like, hey, how you doing?
Well, to go deeper on why I did that as well is because for the first time in my life, I had to not just ask for help, but need help.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a tough fucking transition for me because it's like when you're used to just doing everything by yourself and it's like, you can't.
Right.
Like you're on other people's schedule, like you got to submit. And that was tough.
Yeah.
Submitting and relinquishing control on like, hey, I'm like, my day is not mine anymore.
It's funny how the humbling is usually in what you may pride the most.
Yeah.
I've always thought of you as very independent.
Yeah. Same with you.
And like you said, something affected that independency. And that was your most humbling moment. Another person's might be materialism, their attitude, ego, I think mine was ego. I used to always, like, when younger, and this is the whole thing of how I think my empathy built is when I was younger, I was trying to fit in. So if I'm in the city or here in Jackson, I'm trying not to be too country. I'm trying to see what the hell they're talking about that's making, oh, you country as hell, you country. And then when I'm in the country, I'm trying not to be too spoiled or too preppy or too city boy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking of what is it that y'all are seeing that's making me, you get what I mean?
Projection.
Yeah.
So staying right there, I know I've heard this statement more than a few times. Have you heard it? You act white. You talk white.
Yeah, that all boils into that same, I think with me, my mom and a lot of people in my life, even my aunts and uncles, they might be country as hell, but I mean, they seem pretty articulate to me. Like I ain't never felt like anybody in my family was just like speaking crazy, like, you know what I mean? Real hard slang where you couldn't understand them. But, you know, somebody could meet my family and be like, oh yeah, what the hell did they just say? But
Yeah.
my mom always wanted me to articulate my words and not, you know, she felt like I was going to have a harder life if I wasn't together, right? Presented myself well, speaking well, just trying not to use too much slang, sag and shit like that. You know, she's always on me about manners.
I've always taken it as a sign of disrespect because when I hear you act white, you talk white, or you sound white, it's like, all right, so you're basically telling me to speak with intelligence or whatever is white, and the reverse, whatever black is dumb.
But there is a line though, because there's a guy, you know him, I'm not gonna say his name, but we used to be out and he used to always come out and he'd be like, hey bro, what's up, dude? You know, I'll tell you later. I'm catching you off guard with this. But,
yeah, you are, because I need.
He got out of the military, got into some trouble here, and when he came back, he just had this real persona that I knew was not him. You know, like, this ain't you, bro. Like, what? You know, and here I am. It was very forced in the way he was speaking and talking, and it's like, you know, I grew up in a very diverse social environment. I grew up in different neighborhoods, and I had a lot of different friends, different people to learn from. And that's, I guess, where I was trying to round it up with the empathy and putting yourself in people's shoes for your humbling experiences. You know, I would learn from my friends, and you could say it's copying. I consider it just learning how different cultures or different people do things. And it wasn't just, you know, white people, it was Asian people I was around, younger, Mexicans, some well-to-do black people. I was like, damn, y'all do shit real different, you know?
Yeah.
I grew up with some well-to-do black people, and that was something didn't. And I'm not saying we grew up just butt poor, but I mean, we ain't have it all, you know, but we're country as hell. I know that. And I loved it. But seeing these black folks with money and access and power and the way they carried themselves changed a lot in me, you know. And that was also around high school too. I started hanging out with people going to Tougaloo and people hanging out with some of those guys as they were throwing parties, some of these North Jackson, some Kappa League people, and like just meeting black folks that were pursuing higher education and listening to, like, oh, well, you don't have to sound like this guy. This guy's got all of this going on, and, you know, he sounds intelligent. And I think that people that can't think outside the box or just say, hey, maybe they got an education, maybe they learned a few things.
Maybe they've been somewhere.
Maybe they've been somewhere, and that's why they talk that way.
So it's kind of wild how there's the universal black experience. Mm-hmm. But then there's the experience that those have when they either travel, either for school or work or whatever, and they get jobs elsewhere. And I think like something, this is just my personal opinion, that we got to stop putting just the universal black experience on everybody, because everybody's experience after a certain level of the universal black experience ain't the same.
I think that once you're born and you're black, that's it. It's different for you and the next one.
No, I mean universal in the sense of we all know what it's like being taught to.
Oh, 100%.
With the cops and everything, you know, you get trained how to get pulled over and everything, but
no. That's going to be your whole life. I think that there's a universal things that are going to happen to you or that you may feel are happening to you because you're black your whole life. But I think that your experience in totality changes the moment you're born. Okay, now you're black.
Yeah. I'm not just about to go Terrence Howard first memory in the womb on me and shit.
You're born and you're black. Now that's what the hell happens, right? Does your mom get proper care in the hospital? Damn it. Well, that would be a narrative that could be true. I'm not a woman, a black pregnant woman, but they say that the black pregnancy rate, a lot of them, more of them die. So that's what I'm trying to say is that what happens to you now that you are born and you're black, your whole experience happens from that moment. Everything goes on, you know.
But
whether it's good or bad or different.
If babies could talk and when they're born and, you know, come out and it's like you look in the mirror, you go, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
like,
damn.
That's not what I picked.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah. I guess that'd be crazy. I've never I think I've just had a good childhood in the sense of, you know, I've never had anything that made me dislike the fact that I was black. Like, I don't give a fuck about racism or people thinking that they don't like me because I'm black. I don't care about any of that shit. There's not one bone in my body that feels that I wish, like, fuck, man, wish I could just scrub this shit off. Like, I don't feel that way. I don't, but I guess that.
I got an interesting question for you. Staying on racism. This is a comedic bit that I wrote that fell flat at the time. I might bring it back, but it's about racist shock collars. Like if we all had to wear shock collars for racism, like what would happen?
Yeah, are you being racist or being...
No, if you think racist thoughts, like the way that dogs wear shock collars for barking, like every time you think a racist thought, you get shocked. Like I already know what's going to happen to me, but...
I probably get shocked once.
What?
Maybe once or twice.
My neck will be burnt the fuck
There's
up.
some crazy shit I see that I'd be like, man, Mexicans, wild. You know what I mean? You all would wonder why Donnie's over in the corner, like just yelping, just... I would be over there just fucking... But I think at the end of the day, if we go back to the Aldous Hodge clip about survival, when you're in survival mode, there's no room for victimhood, racism, oppression. There's no room for sad days, bad days, colds, headaches. There's no room for that. The only room is growth, because that keeps you further and further from failing at that survival. And I think that once a person is put in survival mode, a lot of things open up for them in their life, whether they want to accept it or not. I've always questioned, why did my mom have to die as I'm starting nursing school? And, you know, I still can't answer that question. I can't even imagine what the real true purpose of that was. But I felt that I've learned to survive. I've gained independence. And maybe I was spoiled. Maybe I was too dependent on my mom. But at the end of the day, true success for yourself doesn't allow for victims and oh me or oppression or, you know, what's stopping me from doing this? Oh, it's because this person feels this way about me. But that ain't on paperwork. That ain't the law. That ain't policy. Let's talk about the policy.
Who do you think you'd be if she was still here?
A completely different person. Completely different life.
If you had to describe that life in 30 seconds, what would you say?
Plastic surgeon.
Nice.
My mom was not going for that bullshit. And I'm not calling what I do bullshit, but she had a plan for me. And every step of the way, it's like, oh, well, I want to do this. Okay, that's nice. That's cute. But you're going to do this. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then after that, you can do this. And I remember after high school, I was like, yeah, I want to try to go to med school. I want to be a doctor. And she's like, baby, you ain't got the grades to be no doctor. She's like, I don't know if you were playing around, but there's going to be a point where you're going to have the maturity and possibly do that. But what you do have the grades for is to be an LPN. And I was like, okay.
Hey, that reminds me of, you've ever seen Friday Night Lights, the one with Derek Luke, the movie?
Yeah.
When they took his football dream away. And
yeah.
he was all big and bad in the locker room. And then he gets to the car and he couldn't. Yeah. That's how I imagine you when she's going. But
she's honest. She was honest with me. But
that's like the sensitivity thing we were talking about, right? Because it's like we had that conversation about we got to stop being so fucking sensitive on everything. Like we want to make everything.
I think it's okay to go home to your wife, girlfriend, significant other. And this will actually probably help you question your relationships. But I think it's okay to cry to your partner. But what kind of relationship do you have? Do you have a partner that's going to respect you still if you cry? If you're going,
most women aren't going to.
Most women would not.
Like, I don't know how guys who get pegged like look at their girls. It's
yeah,
like,
I mean,
she had you on all fours. You was like, oh, you can't. It's not gonna work.
And I think that if once you don't have an outlet, then you just bottle. And once you bottle, then you're fucked. You gotta have an outlet of some sort. I would say that you if you don't have a relationship in which you could share with your partner, like, hey, I'm having a rough day, and this happened to me, this happened to me, and I just don't feel too good. Mm-hmm. And either she respects you or she says you're a weak ass bitch, and you're like, what?
You're gonna be Derek Luke crying in the car.
Yeah, it's like you're fucking weak. I didn't marry no weak man, and blah blah blah. It leaves pep talk. Like, that is not a pep talk. You just, like, I was vulnerable right there. And now she's taking advantage of you, taking your money and shit. She don't want to hear nothing. But, the right woman is going to be like, okay, well, baby, this is how you fix it. I know you're strong, blah, blah, blah. And then before you know it, you're out of it. And you're back to being yourself. But that comes from a good woman.
All right, I'm going to close out on a new segment I'm introducing called Where Were You? And the question I want to ask you today is to think back on a memory. Where were you when the death of Tupac was announced?
Shit, I don't fucking know.
You don't know who you was with Tupac? Come on, man.
I don't know. Probably somewhere. I'm thinking Clinton, Mississippi. The YMCA got in trouble for trying to drown this
96? Kid. It was 96, right?
Yeah, that had to be. I don't even, man, I couldn't. I would say Clinton. I would say I probably living in Clinton, hanging out at the YMCA, got in a fight with a kid, drowned him. I didn't really drown him. I tried to.
Yeah.
I was just dunking him underwater. Lifeguards jumped in, come and got me. The crazy thing about Clinton back then was the YMCA, the gym, like all of Clinton was connected. Mm-hmm. So because of what I got into at the YMCA, I got expelled from school also. It was all related. And then this was in the summer. School wasn't even in. But when we went back that first year, like, yeah, we found out your son got into a little issue. The YMCA, we're going to expel him from this year. He would have to, and she was like, what? And that's how we ended up in Byram.
Oh, man.
M85.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Craig, or as some of you know him, Johnny Ink, a Profane Tattoo Studio. Located where?
We're at I-55 North, Target Shopping Center, the Junction, off County Line.
Specialty tattoos, cover-ups, you offer it all. Full service tattoo shop?
Yeah, we do everything, man. Cover-ups, portraits, color, whatever you want. Anything, handle walk-ins. Sometimes we're booked. Just really depends on how busy it is. Mm-hmm.
All right, and I can give you a follow on where on socials?
It's Profane Tattoo. We're on Instagram. Profane Tattoo Studio on Instagram. Profane Tattoo on Facebook. profanetattoo.com is the best way to find us.
Thanks for coming by, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
My man.
All right.
All right, fuck off, y'all.